Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! My ex-wife was a school teacher. As such, I always volunteered to help around the school and help her and other teachers with some of the things they needed help with, like artistic bulletin boards and such. One day, I took her to school and the staff had a meeting. I was working on replacing the artwork in the bulletin board near the front to match the current seasons and events before I go to work. I had my visitor badge on and everything. In comes this crazy lady with her kid. She walks up to me and says, "Here, please take him to the cafeteria." I'm in a hurry. For context, you should know that in my country, unless it is your job, you can get into a lot of trouble if I agree. I told her, "Lady, I don't work here. You will have to take him in yourself," while pointing to my visitor badge, which she was 100% ignoring. She proceeds to say, "You will take my child and escort him because I pay your salary." I smiled and politely said again, "I don't work here, and no you don't." I turned to continue working on the board, and she grabbed me to turn me around, and my visitor badge hit her square in the eye. She screamed and yelled and accused me of assaulting her. At the noise, the staff who just finished their meeting came out, and my ex-wife and principal came toward us to know what happened. Karen was already on the phone with the police and accusing me of assaulting her. I explained the situation to my ex and the principal and asked him to prepare the camera footage for the police when they arrive. The Karen is now screaming at the principal demanding I get fired. The principal keeps explaining I don't work here and that I'm a volunteer who is married to one of the teachers, but she won't have it. The police arrive and take our statements, and the staff showed them the video and it was clearly her fault. They asked me if I want to press charges, and I say yes. She was taken away in handcuffs, kicking and screaming. She hit the officer in the process, which added to her charges. She ended up with 6 months in prison and 500 hours of community service. I work at a small store on a college campus. We're right across the street from the school's bookstore and are technically a branch of it. Every semester, the bookstore hosts a poster sale outside in a tent. It's completely leased out to a company and all the transactions are done through them. I couldn't honestly tell what we get out of it, but it's not sales. School started this week for us, and despite the nightmare in America, we're all going ahead with mostly in-person classes. Still, we've had a lot of phone calls instead of in-person sales, and I'm always grateful to the people who do them since it benefits both of us. Today, I got a call from someone a bit different. The caller says, "Hey, I just spoke with my staff member about the details of the poster sale, and I was just calling back to see if you could tell me the price of the posters." "I'm so sorry, but I don't actually know. It's not actually under our division. We just know the dates and times because of the flyers they asked us to hand out." "Well, could you go check for me?" "I'm sorry, but they don't have a website and all the posters are different sizes and prices anyway. I can transfer you to the bookstore and someone might be able to help you over there." "Well, can't you just go across the street and check for me? It's literally right there." Me, incredibly short-staffed and already having a terrible day. "I'm sorry, sir, I can't leave the store." "What do you mean? It's literally right across the street. It'll take just a second." Me completely taken aback that this man who isn't even a customer is asking me to literally exit my store to tell him the prices from another retailer. "Sir, I'm clocked in over here. I'm sorry. I just can't leave the store." "You literally can't leave the store? Like you're physically incapable of leaving the store?" Me completely done with the day at 11 a.m. "Yes, that's correct." "Wow, great customer service. Thanks." At this point, I said thank you and he told me to have a nice day. I attempted to return the sentiment, but alas, my new friend hung up on me. And just when he was learning the traumatizing boundaries of my workplace prison, maybe one day I will escape the physical entrapment of my store. It is. I'd just like to add that this poster sale is done entirely in person. They don't ship or hold anything or do orders over the phone, as they don't have a phone. You would have to go inside the tent, no matter what. I went shoe shopping today, nothing too fancy. I just wanted to get a new pair of running shoes. So, I'm at a local shoe store browsing the stock of good shoes at relatively low prices, which is why I go there. I am not into trendy new shoes. I just like ones that fit well and let me run comfortably in them and don't want to overpay. The best way to do that, in my opinion, is to get brand new great shoes, but in prior models so the price is reduced. Anyway, I found a nice pair of shoes and I'm in the process of removing them from the box so I can try them on when I hear a woman shout from the end of the row. "When you're done there, get over here and help me get my feet into these. And hurry up, I don't have all night." I figure some mother is talking to her kid in a rude way, which I've sadly heard parents do before. No kid around though. Oh well, I pay no attention and go back to checking out what I hope will be my next pair of running shoes. But alas, soon I hear the woman again. "What do you think you're doing? Customers come first." She's turned her ass on an employee, I think. Well, they can handle themselves. Let's do some short little runs back and forth across the aisle, since no one else is over here so we can see about these new shoes. So I start jogging back and forth, looking at the shoes on my feet and the space near me, and paying no mind to anything else. These fit great, and they are not even $40. I do believe I will buy them. Then it happens. I'm slowly jogging back to my own shoes, totally delighted at getting this new pair, and I feel something slam into the back of my head. I look around and the woman who is a behemoth behind is standing there, with a smug look between anger and satisfaction plastered across her miserable face. "You would have seen that coming if you were paying attention to your customers. Now get over here and do your job before I get your pathetic self fired." It takes a few short seconds for me to process this. My mind is working this way, and she hit me in the head with a shoe. Because she thinks I'm an employee. Wait, she hit me in the head with a freaking shoe. Are you out of your mind? I don't work here, lady. Yes, I got to yell the title of this up at her. I started moving toward her, but 3 real employees descended on us. The behemoth took the lead and launched into a tirade about how I wasn't doing my job, even though I just told her I didn't work there. I told the nearest employee what happened while she ranted to a guy who turned out to be the manager. I thought he might believe her for a second, but he was having none of her crap. It turns out he had been in the back working and watching the video monitors, which allowed him to see her throw a shoe at me and hit me in the head. He asked if I was okay. I was just stunned. And then he told the behemoth he was calling the police. She tried running away but hilariously slipped on a shoebox, falling right back onto the seat she had been on, and then she apparently gave up on the idea of escape. A police officer arrives in a few minutes. I tell him what happened, while the behemoth denies it and claims I threw the shoe at her. The manager says he saw the whole thing happen, his eyes stated, and even has video of it, which he then copies onto a USB drive. This goes into the officer's pocket before he places the behemoth into handcuffs and leads her out of the store. As for me, I got my brand new pair of running shoes at the best price ever. Free. Thanks to the manager's insistence, even though I said he didn't need to do that. Edit. This is not a Never Was an ad. I only wanted to tell my story. I don't care what shoes anyone buys. For God's sake. This happened when I was 20-ish, before 21, because I'm American. I wasn't old enough to buy drinks, so yeah. I was at Walmart looking at the books while I waited for my friend to get off work so I could drive her home. Just typical browsing, looking at the covers and then putting them back and so on. There were no other boxes or overstock near me, so it was implausible that I was stocking the shelves. I was also wearing black leggings and a college logo shirt, so I wasn't even in a uniform. I'll add in what was approximately said when someone was there to clue me in. Being deaf, I didn't hear anyone saying anything or even walking up behind me. I did, however, feel a finger tapping me on the shoulder. I turned around and looked at the woman with a questioning look on my face. She was talking to me, but I had no idea what she was saying. I tried to tell her that I am deaf and I can't hear her by pointing at my ear and shaking my head. She looked at me and reached at my ears. I later found out she thought I had headphones in. I was trying to yank them out. This was before true wireless earbuds and no visible wires. So I naturally recoil and back away. This pissed her off. She starts yelling. You can tell when someone starts yelling even if you can't hear them. Apparently she was yelling, "Don't act like you can't hear me, you little witch. You need to do what I say or you're fired." I still had no idea what was going on, so I started to walk away. She grabbed me by the shoulders roughly and started screaming again. "Don't walk away from me. I'm going to get your manager and get you fired." She then starts yelling for a manager. My friend comes back and signs for me asking what was going on. I shook myself free of the woman and told my friend I didn't know. The woman started yelling that we were now flashing gang signs and were planning to kill her. My friend tries to explain, "My friend is deaf and can't hear you. Please, leave us alone." Before the mom could say more, her son walks up and says he's ready to go. His mom starts yelling about how she's not going anywhere until she gets her alcohol out of the locked cabinet. Figures. The manager walks up shortly after and asks what's going on. The mom says that I was rude, ignoring her and not doing my job. The manager says that I don't work there, but he'd be happy to help. She doesn't believe him and wants the store manager. The assistant store manager is on duty, so he gets called out and says the same thing, that I don't work there. The mom rolls her eyes at my friend and I walk away. All the while she's yelling at me to get back there and do my job, and how it's a conspiracy to make her look stupid. She did that herself just fine by herself. On our way out, we see her being escorted out by police officers in handcuffs. Apparently, she pushed one of the workers. I was asked if I also wanted to press charges for assault, but I didn't care and didn't want her getting locked away for too long since I didn't know if she was a single mother or not, and going into the system sucks, so I didn't want the kid to get overly punished. My friend disagreed with me but understood my reasoning. Took me a month before I was able to go back into a Walmart by myself. Not my story, but my boyfriend's. He doesn't like writing, but we've been listening to a lot of Reddit stories on YouTube, and this story came up. His family confirmed this happened, so it's not made up. But my boyfriend Jake, who is 19, he had a job at a smoothie shop. He worked with 3 other people and his boss. We will call him Michael. Jack's one stipulation before getting his job was that he not work with peanut butter since he's allergic. He'll break out in hives and, if ingested, his throat will swell. Not bad enough for EpiPen, but bad enough to need Penderol. At this job, they made protein bowls, and it was made with peanut butter. One day during a rush, Jake was at the sink when Michael threw a big ball of leftover peanut butter in the sink and told Jake to wash it. Jake argued and told him he can't touch it and that he'd have a breakout. Michael argued with him and told him to do so. So Jake, being the stubborn jerk he is, said okay, fine. Roughly 5 minutes later, Jack's hands and arms were covered in hives. So once his arms had visible hives, he took a picture and sent it in the work group chat the owners were in, saying, "Can someone cover my shift? I'm a tad under the weather," with pictures of his hands. He walked out before anyone responded. Someone covered his shift, and the owners came in with a girl who covered the rest of the shift to yell at Michael. The next day, the girl told Jake about Michael getting chewed out by the owners. The owners called Jake and apologized for what happened. Long story short, that along with stealing money from the registers and being creepy with the high school girls, Michael was fired. Jake quit shortly after, just because. For people commenting that was stupid and allergic reactions get worse, Yes, he is well aware. He was a spiteful teen with no sense of self-preservation, just pittiness. It's just a little possible death. The owners liked him and gave him an espresso machine when he left, so he says it was worth it. No though, he wouldn't and won't do it again. A call comes in. Me, good morning, Widgets International, this is OP. The customer says, hi. I was just about to dispense one of your widgets to my clients, but I can't fit a medium-sized oscillator into it. The socket is too small. Me, more interested in solving the problem than assigning blame. Oh no, let's fix that. What is the serial number of the widget? We'll send you a replacement, but make sure that it fits a medium oscillator. The serial number is 531F0WN. Thank you. Let me take a moment to set that up. I start setting up the replacement order, but the customer continues talking. Customer, aggressively, almost abusively, I can't believe you guys. This isn't the first time this happened. What should I tell my client? Are you going to pay for her cab fare? I'm sorry, sir, we can't pay for her cab fare, but we do apologize for the inconvenience. The customer rhetorically, how did this happen? I haven't had just about enough of this customer's attitude. When I've been nothing but helpful, I decide sure, why not? Let's waste some time. Me, with artificial cheeriness. How? Oh, certainly, sir. Let me look that up for you. But then it got better. Well, sir, looking at the original paperwork, it looks like the widget was ordered to fit a small oscillator. Given your history of errors, we wanted to be sure, so we called you, and yes, it appears you confirmed this widget was to be used with a small oscillator. The customer muttering petulantly, I don't have any small oscillators on hand. Me, cloyingly sweet, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Would you like me to send you some? Or should I finish setting up the new widget order to fit a medium? I can do both. Customer still muttering, just a new widget for a medium, please. Me, brightly, certainly, sir. And I'm going back to typing. Okay, sir, you're set up for a new widget with a medium-sized oscillator socket. Will there be anything else? Customer unhappy about being embarrassed. No, thank you. Me twisting the knife. Are you sure, sir? I can send some small oscillators in addition. We wouldn't want you to be unprepared in the future over a silly mistake like this. A customer? No, thank you. Click.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.